Hey guys, and finally welcome to my 3-month update on my 30-gallon reef tank. So I know it's been a month since I've actually done an update on this tank. I apologise for that, and so that means this video might be a little bit of a long one, in between 10 and 15 minutes long. So just bear with me. I've got a lot of stuff to cover because I've got a few more bits of equipment, a few more bits of livestock. So let's just jump straight in. So equipment wise, I got the Red Sea net cover, and I spent, I think, about in between 40 and 50 quid for this, which isn't too bad. You only have to get one once, and you know, it'll stop your fish from jumping out, so it's the kind of price you'd expect. It's good quality. It's good. I think this is aluminium, I think so. It's good quality net. It's nothing, you know, cheap or anything. It's really good quality. It looks really smart. And it took about, well, it took quite a few hours to build. This is the second size up, so it's the 90 centimeter long. Well, it can go up to 90 centimeters long, and I think this one's like 60, so I think it's the second size up, which is just enough. Well, actually no, I had quite a lot spare, loads of netting spare, but yeah, it did take quite a while to do. We started it on one night, and then we kind of paused for that night, got about halfway through it, and then we finished it off in the morning. So it took about probably 3 hours for it to do, but you don't have to do it once. Once you're done it, you've done it, that's it. And it does look really smart on the tank. It doesn't, you know, it doesn't put off your view or anything. It does look really good, actually. Just to be safe, I don't want to wake up and a fish being on the floor, so glad I got this. And livestock wise, unfortunately no fish. Obviously I won't be adding any more fish for quite a while now because of this whole coronavirus thing in the UK. Anyway, they've closed all of the shops, including fish shops, so I can't actually get any fish, and I can't get any from online either, I don't think, anyway. So that's a bit annoying, but I do have a few bits of coral that I've kind of nicked off my dad here. Green hystrix at the back. This is already starting to grow. It has been in here for quite a few weeks now, but that looks a lovely piece of coral. I can show you a colony, actually. Sorry, the tank's a bit misty at the moment, but this is my dad's tank. This is the colony that it came from, so eventually, give it quite a few months or up to a year, this is the kind of size that you're looking at it will get to, so it will be a very nice coral. So that's that, green hystrix, yeah. Next one is the hirsuta. This is a very nice coral. Green again, got kind of these yellowish polyps all over them. Again, this comes from a colony. I'll show that in just a sec if I can. There's another little piece kind of behind it, you can't really see it, but it's kind of wedged on there. I did glue both these corals on there very successfully. And this type of coral is a pretty strange kind of growing type coral. It grows it kind of plates out like Montipora, but also grows kind of short. It's similar growing to Digi, red Digi there. It's very similar growing to that. But yeah, that's the hirsuta. I'm not really sure how to spell it, but it's just called a green hirsuta. I'm pretty sure you can get some other colours of that as well, so that's a very nice coral there. So that's it for the livestock. I've only got 2 more pieces of coral. Might be adding a few others over the next couple of months, because I can just get some frags off my dad when I can. So to recap on the rest of the coral and the fish, everything's actually starting to grow, which is amazing. So let's start from left to right. On coral, Acan had this coral for a year and hasn't grown a millimeter. I think this head on the side might, I'm not really too sure yet, but might be starting to grow. I hope it is, but fingers crossed it is. And this one might be, this main one here, I think might actually be starting to split into 2. So it's starting to stretch out a little bit, so that's good. Hopefully that starts growing. And this hammer has really been puffing up loads, really been expanding itself more, splitting heads very rapidly, considering it's right at the bottom of the sandbed. It's not getting, well, I mean, it's getting plenty light, but you know, it's not getting blasted with light. It's growing pretty fast. Also got another bit of frag there. I'm not really too sure what I'm going to do with that yet. Pulse score is getting absolutely squandered by cleanup crew in the corner at the moment. It's kind of fallen down there. It was up here more, but it's kind of fallen down there recently. Didn't even know that. It's doing all right. It's hanging in there. It haven't shown any growth on that yet, but it's taken a while to settle in. It's been a bit of an off coral. Taken a while to start to grow. It was starting to grow, but then I kind of moved it. I had to. It wasn't really. It was right in here in the shade, and it wasn't getting anything, so I moved it, and it's kind of done worse now. Bit of GSP wedge down there as well. I'm gonna have to get that. yeah, hopefully, fingers crossed, that recovers. Up here, GSP, this is an old GSP. I'm not too sure I'm going to keep this, but don't think that's growing, but it's always been an off type of coral. I'm not really too fussed what it does. I don't know if I'm going to keep it yet. Wall coral, that's down here now. I know it's been a month, so I can't really remember what I've moved. I know this hammer was up here. I've moved a bunch of corals around. Wall corals in there, getting shaded a tiny bit, but it's still fine. Not starting to grow yet, I don't think, but hopefully it should play out here. I'm going to be cautious because these type of corals do have long-ish stinging tentacles. You look well feeding tentacles, which will harm other corals, such as this green hystrix and maybe this pink. I'll get to that in just a sec. But yeah, it's not a massively fast grower, but we'll see what it does. Might have to just frag it away or move it. I'm not really too sure what to do with that yet, but it's a nice coral. I'll probably keep it. I know it looks orange, but it's red Montipora. This is actually, I've only just noticed this today, it's starting to play out right at the, if we look, yeah, so that's starting to grow there, a few bits underneath it starting to sprout out, which is a little bit weird, but that's fine. Elkhorn, never really talk about this because I never actually see it. I've kind of forgotten about it because it's been at a kind of funny angle on this rock here, a little bit higher up, and I haven't really seen it, so I've moved it down here so you can actually see it now, and it's glued in there. It's a good spot for it there, and it's actually starting to launch some sprouts out from the sides of it, so that's doing well. Look, quite a nice coral. This rock is actually starting to get really packed. Let's go up here. Pink hystrix, again, looks green. It's just because the coral lens is messing up my camera, but yeah, that is pink hystrix, starting to, yeah, loads of little spikes. You can see all over it. It's got those little spikes, so that's good. That's starting to grow. Candy cane, well, trumpet coral is doing really well. This is starting to split heads. Beautiful coral. This is really, really luminous. Just a little bit cautious of this torch coral. Not really too sure. It's not touching yet, but we'll see what it does. I might have to move them, or split them up, or do something with them eventually, because they're not there yet. But this candy cane is starting to grow really quickly. They are fast growers, those coral. This torch is growing really slowly, but that's good. I don't really want this massive anyway. It's a good sized coral. That's one of my favourites in. It's got some good movement. Hirsute I did talk about earlier. Nothing growing yet because it's only recently been in there. But Duncan, starting to sprout out some new heads from underneath it. Can't really get any footage of it, but yeah, there are a few little heads starting to come out from a few places, which is good. And I'm actually feeding them reefroids as well. I'm feeding all the corals in every reefroids apart from the hammer, the pulse coral, and that was it. Yeah, just the hammer and the pulse coral I don't feed because they don't need feeding. And what else we got in this tank? We got red digi. Yeah, again, looks orange, but it's just with the coral lens, but it is red digi. And this is starting to grow, little white tips on the ends you can see, so that's starting to grow. That's all good, brilliant. Little bits falling down here. I'm gonna have to glue that. That one isn't even glued as well, but they haven't moved. They're pretty wedged in there. This one is a bit loose. It's always been a bit loose up there. Gonna have to glue that up there eventually. This sow as well, I'm gonna have to glue because it's supposed to be there, and this one's really growing fast. And these are starting to grow as well. Jungle juice zoanthids, probably my favourite coral zoanthids. As dangerous as they are, like, probably holds one of the most dangerous toxins inside them on the planet, but it's you know, if you keep them low enough on the tank when you do water changes, they never go that low anyway, so they never come out of the tank. So as long as they stay in the water, you're all good. And obviously don't frag them in the water as well, because they release their toxins, and I've had experience with that, or corals being annoyed if you touch them on that and they release their toxins. You know, that will annoy your corals. Got some down here and down the sides I'm gonna have to glue as well. Haven't got to that yet. And what other corals have we got in here? There's a few bits of odd pieces of pulse coral that's obviously been stuck on some rocks from the little tank. There's a bit of elkhorn up there as well. I'm gonna have to deal with that when it gets a little bit bigger. I can easily just snip it. And I almost forgot the GSP at the back is, you can see, starting to crawl up to the top, which is good. I only want a nice big, well, I say big, I only want a small strip all the way up the top, so when it grows up it will go all the way up to the water surface, and then it will start fanning out to the sides. So I only want a small strip of that because I don't want the whole back wall just, you know, luminous green. It will kind of draw your eyes all to that instead of all the other stuff, and I don't like that my tank's too green. So that'll look good when it starts growing a bit more. And Coralline is really taking off. Like all of the, so this is a good thing. Coralline algae, it's basically this purpley pink algae that starts growing all over rocks, which is a good sign. But there's only one bad thing about it, is it drains down. It literally sucks down your alkalinity and calcium. Haven't seen that yet, but when it starts growing a bit more, that will start to suck that down probably, and I might need to start dosing. So you see all these little peppery bits all over the rocks, mainly on this rock. You can see all these little bits. See all these pink kind of bits? That's all coralline algae. Not really much starting on the back wall. Well, actually no, I just noticed that a few bits. Look, see in the center of the screen, those 3 bits. So it's already starting to go into the back wall, so that's good as well. Actually, it's really taken off all up there. I've only just noticed that now. So that's all good. So that's all the corals. All the corals are doing brilliantly. Nothing to complain about. Fish, all the same. Clownfish doing all right in the corner, feeding twice a day. Damselfish is up there as well. It's really camera shy. That's damsel, so it's very hard to get some footage of that. Same thing with the firefish. Really camera shy, so he'll be down there somewhere underneath the filter. I don't know how he fits under there, but that's tight. All right. Don't know why he chooses to go underneath there, but usually he's out. 75% of the time he's out, and he loves when it's feeding time. I just turn the flow off, and then 5 seconds after I turn the flow off, he's out and ready to eat. So problems, no massive problems. Only one thing is the skimmer has been like a little bit louder than what it should be, but I think the issue is there's not enough waste in the tank, because this skimmer is designed for quite high bioload of, well, about a 300 litre tank. It's suited for a 300 litre tank, and this is 100, well, including rock and sand, you look about 110 litres. So I got 3 times the size skimmer than what I should, and there's only 4 small fish in here, and I'm only feeding once a day. Barely any waste in the tank, and I'm feeding it food that is specially designed so fish don't produce as much waste. And I've come off that now. I'm still on Spectrum pellets, which is really nutritious food, but I've just come off the probiotic version, which is the one that makes the fish give off less waste. So then they should be now producing slightly more waste, which might help with the noise of the skimmer. So I just need to add more fish. Annoyingly, I can't at the moment. Flow has been alright. I haven't really adjusted that at all for a while, because I wanted the corals to settle in. I haven't been twiddling about with the light or the flow or water chemistry. It's all been really stable. And hands out of tank, I know it's hard at the start of tanks to keep your hands out. You need to keep adjusting stuff, you know, with rocks, and when you add corals and that, you just have to tweak some stuff. But I've been good for in the past week or two, to keep my hands out of tank, because it really saw those oils, and it kind of stunts the coral's growth for a little bit, and that's bad. You just want to keep your hands out of tank as much as you can. So I've been good with that recently. And alkalinity has been quite high, about 11.5, but stable. I don't care what it's at, if it's a 7 or 12, right? As long as it's stable, I'm happy. Same thing with calcium, magnesium. Magnesium's not really dropping at all, which is normal. So not dosing yet, just relying on water changes, but nothing's really sucking down it at all. But when that coralline starts growing a bit more, it will probably drain it down, and I have to start dosing. So I'll probably do a dosing video when I get to that. And I'm thinking of changing salts as well, because I want my alkalinity and calcium about the 9 to 10 level, in between 9 and 10. So I want a salt that mixes up at about 9 or 10, so maybe the Fritz one, maybe the Tropic Marin, not really too sure yet. Currently I'm using the Red Sea one. I've always used the Red Sea one. Red Sea Coral Pro mixes up at like 12 alkalinity, I think. Yeah, it's about 12 alkalinity, I think, which is quite high, and I want to run it a little bit lower than that, so probably be switching salts. So apart from the skimmer being slightly louder than what it should be, but that's a small issue, and I know how to solve it. Just add more fish when I can, and apart from that, everything else is fine. Flow's fine, water chemistry is fine, corals are fine, fish are fine. Filtration is the usual, filter floss pad, changing that out once a week. Temperature's been stable, although it's starting to creep into summer now, so we'll see how we get on. But you know, when it starts getting to around up to 30 degrees in the air, which is rare. You know, you only get that occasional day in the UK. When it hits the 30 degrees, that temperature in the tank starts creeping up. But as long as it stays in between 25 and 26, I'm fine. It's just when it starts getting to those critical levels, like 27, you're gonna have to start putting, you know, like ice packs and fans and all sorts. I'm not really gonna bother with a chiller, I don't think, because that's a bit of a waste of money. You can just get a fan on there. So I'm pretty sure that won't be a problem. So everything's been doing really, really good. This is 3 months in. It's the point of the tank where everything starts turning around. Everything starts to grow. So I want to thank you for everyone who watched the whole 16 minutes of this video. I know it's quite a long one, just had a lot to cover. So I'll see you guys next week with not really too sure what kind of video I'll be doing. So you'll find out in a week. Bye.